Yo, what up again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Sports-O-Mania Plus right here on the Game Breaker Sports Network. It's in the game or in the ring. What's going on? I'm your host, Marcus, at Marcus Elite 337 on Twitter. Y'all know the drill. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow the podcast on Twitter. Follow Game Breaker Sports Network on Twitter at GameBreakersNet. Check out the website. You know where to find us. We got some bit to talk about, folks. A lot of good, a lot of bad, and let's start off kind of on a bad note. You could say, let's see what the show is definitely about. We're definitely here to talk sports, but we're going to talk about something I don't usually cover a lot, but this was so big, I thought, why don't we talk about it? Let's talk about this past weekend. Down in AT&T Stadium in Dallas, we had a boxing fight live on Netflix, which I got a lot of rant on Netflix. Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. Eventually, it was supposed to happen on July 20th, but got postponed after Tyson suffered an all-clear flare-up, and it got pushed to November 15th. I know over 65 million people watched it on Netflix, despite Netflix streaming issues with buffering throughout the card. Some people even had buffering for the main event, but that's what happens when a lot of people try to get on at one time. Netflix got some issues they need to fix, especially if they're going to try and put wrestling on Netflix now, if you know what I mean. WWE's Raw going to Netflix in January. But other than that, I called it. I said that this was basically a rigged fight. Nobody was getting knocked out. Run through the card. On the preliminary card, which I didn't watch either of these fights, Bruce Carrington defeated Dana Coolwell by unanimous decision in 8 rounds. In the lightweight, and that was a featherweight. In the lightweight, Lucas Abadi defeated Armando Casamonica in 10 rounds by majority decision. In the super middleweight, Shadeja Green defeated Melinda Watpool by split decision in 10 rounds. Main card, there were 4 fights. In the super middleweight, Niraj Goyat defeated Whindersson Nunes in 6 rounds by unanimous decision. In the welterweight, Mario Barrios defeated Abel Ramos in 12 rounds by a split draw. The co-main event, I felt like she was robbed, but in the lightweight, Katie Taylor defeated Amanda Serrano in 10 rounds by unanimous decision. So she retained her championship, as well as Mario Barrios retained his championship. And in the main event, in the heavyweight, Jake Paul defeated Mike Tyson in 8 rounds by unanimous decision. Definitely was not the best night of fights. I miss the good old days when you would see a knockout. There was not one knockout on this whole card, and that's what ruined it. And I know millions of people have betted money for Mike Tyson to knock out Jake Paul, or if Jake Paul gonna knock out Mike Tyson. We didn't see any of that shit. It was a rigged fight. It was all about money. I told y'all it was gonna be ended up this way. I wanted Tyson to knock his ass out, but it wasn't gonna happen. Then when the fight was over, he's calling out Conor McGregor. Why don't you fight somebody that's not retired? That's the only reason why you win in these fucking fights. The last time you fought somebody that was still on the card, you got your ass knocked out. You're 27 years old. You beat a 57-year-old man whose ass was just shown worldwide on Netflix. But I had a feeling it was going to be like that. And if Jake Paul does have another fight, whoever it's going to be, I'm already calling it now. They're going to find a way to make Jake Paul win that one, too. Despite Logan Paul saying he'd kill Mike Tyson. Shut the fuck up, Logan Paul. However, we did see some things that I wanted to see, but we saw on this night. The following night in Madison Square Garden, we had UFC 309, Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic. This card here, we did see some shit. We did see some knockouts. Preliminary card on ESPN Plus or Fight Pass. In the women's flyweight, Eduardo Mora defeated Veronica Hardy by unanimous decision. In the welterweight, Oban Elliott defeated Basil Hafez by knockout in the third round. In the welterweight, Ramiz Bramija defeated Mickey Gall by knockout in the first round. On the preliminary card on ESPN News, FX, Hulu, and ESPN Plus, in the heavyweight, Marcin Tybura defeated Janata Dinez by TKO in the second round, or a doctor stoppage. In the lightweight, David Onama defeated Roberto Romero by unanimous decision. In the lightweight, Jim Miller defeated Damon Jackson by submission with a guillotine choke in the first round. And in the bantamweight, Marcus McGeehee defeated Jonathan Martinez by unanimous decision. Main card, catchweight division, Mauricio Ruffy defeated James Lyntop by unanimous decision. Women's flyweight, Vivian Araújo defeated Karine Silva by unanimous decision. Middleweight, Bo Nicol defeated Paul Craig by unanimous decision. Co-main event, in the lightweight, Charles Olivier defeated Michael Chandler by unanimous decision. And in the main event, in the heavyweight division, Jon Jones defeated Stipe Miocic by TKO in the third round to retain the UFC heavyweight championship. And, I am not the biggest Jon Jones fan. I know a lot of people say he's the greatest of all time, but it's because of my love for Daniel Cormier being a Louisiana boy. Jon Jones and Daniel Cormier was a heated rivalry. They've had 2 fights. We got robbed for a third one twice. Jon Jones won the first fight by unanimous decision. The second one actually ended in no contest, but they ended up awarding it to Daniel Cormier. We never got that third fight where Jones claims he was going to knock out DC, or DC claimed he was going to make Jon Jones go to sleep. We got robbed of that twice due to failed drug tests from Jon Jones. Remember, UFC 200, we were supposed to get this. But no, Daniel Cormier had to fight Anderson Silva instead. And then there was another night. I think it was like 271 or something like that. I don't remember the number. It was like July of 2018, I think. He ended up fighting Miocic, became the heavyweight champion, called out Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar and Daniel Cormier were talking words. Oh, we're going to have a fight. Never happened. Just like we never got this third encounter. And then Daniel Cormier retires. Jon Jones is back. So, fuck, it is what it is. Big crowd, though, over 20,000 in attendance. They've total gate $16,673,954 for this pay-per-view. Very good numbers for the UFC there. I need to really start getting into watching UFC more. I do know whatever they got coming up next, I'd have to look and see if there's anything worth watching. I'm still waiting to hear about Dustin Poirier's final fight before he retires, if they decide to do it in Lafayette. I know next pay-per-view, UFC 310, Pantoja versus Asakura in Vegas. Unfortunately, I won't be watching that one. I will be on a getaway with the family. UFC 311 will be January 18th in LA at the new Intuit Dome. We'll have to look into that. UFC 312 in February will be in Sydney, Australia. Might maybe check that one out. UFC 213 in March will be in Vegas. That's the only other upcoming pay-per-views outside of a few UFC fight nights that they're going to be doing either in Vegas at the Apex or in late March in London at the O2. So that's the only UFC talk I got to close out talking about UFC 309. Let's get to some basketball talk. I know group play is still going on. I know we got the Spurs and the Thunder going on right now. But here's a recap of this past weekend. The last time I was on, we were talking group play. Go back to Friday, November 15th. The Rockets got a win in group play. They beat the Clippers 125-104. Hell, even the New Orleans Pelicans got a win in group play, breaking a 8-9 game losing streak. They beat the Nuggets 101-94. The Heat beat the Pacers 124-111. Magic beat the Sixers 98-86. Pistons beat the Raptors 99-95. Hawks beat the Wizards 129-117. Cavs beat the Bulls 144-126. Knicks beat the Nets 124-122. Lakers beat the Spurs 120-115. Thunder beat the Suns 99-83. Warriors beat the Grizzlies 123-118. And in overtime, the Timberwolves beat the Kings 130-126. Meanwhile, today, the only game that just ended, the Boston Celtics ended the streak. The Cleveland Cavaliers take their first loss of the season. Celtics won 120-117. As of so far, the only game that ended today in group play. So far, Mavericks are leading the Pelicans 81-65. Nets are leading the Hornets 116-113 with 13 seconds left in that one. So it looks like the Nets might close that one down. Nuggets lead the Grizzlies in the fourth, 102-90. And like I said, right now, Spurs lead Thunder 43-38 in the second period. We still got Jazz and the Lakers tonight at 9:30. Meanwhile, other group play going on. Friday night, this will be prime time. The New Orleans Pelicans are hosting the Golden State Warriors on ESPN. I'll have to try and check that out. Rockets are going to host the Trailblazers. Nets at the Sixers, Celtics at the Wizards, Pacers at the Bucks, Hawks at the Bulls, Mavericks at the Nuggets, Kings at the Clippers. Making predictions. It's not looking good for the Pelicans. I know looking at their track record, they're 4-10 right now. They're the second worst team in the Western Conference, maybe the fifth worst in the league right now. Last show I did, they lost 106-88 to the Thunder. They won Friday night against the Nuggets, 101-94. A couple leaders here. Brandon Ingram led in points in that one, 29 points, 12 for 26 in field goals, 2 free throws. Yavis Missy led in rebounds with 12, 6 on D and 6 on offense. And Brandon Ingram also led in assists with 7 and 2 turnovers in 37 minutes of play in that one. They fell to the Lakers 104-99, so they already lost one game. They're on the verge of losing this one. They got Cleveland tomorrow night. Cleveland madman after that loss to the Celtics tonight. So probably be another L there. They host Golden State in group play Friday. They go to Indiana Monday night. Then most likely my next episode I'm going to do on Royal Wednesday, Thanksgiving Eve, next Wednesday, November 27th. By then they'll have a game that night. They're going to host the Toronto Raptors. So hopefully they can try and get some more wins there. But I got Golden State. If I'm being honest, I think Golden State's going to win the group play matchup against the Pelicans. I do believe the Rockets can win over the Trailblazers. The Rockets have been doing fantastic. Last I saw in the standings, they were once third in the West. They're dropped to the number 4 seed in the West, but it's still not bad. Since last episode, they've had back-to-back games with the Clippers. One of them was in group play. They won both matchups. 111-103 in regular play, 125-104 in group play. The group play matchup, Jabari Smith Jr. led in points. He had 28 points. He went 11 for 17 in field goals and 1 for 1 in free throws. He also led in rebounds. He had 11 total, 8 on defense and 3 on offense. And in assists, Fred VanVleet led with 10 assists and 2 turnovers in just 33 minutes of play. They did beat the Bulls on Sunday, 143-107, dropped 140-plus points on the Chicago Bulls. They did lose a heartbreaker Monday night to the Milwaukee Bucks by 1 point, 101-100. They'll play the Pacers tomorrow night, and then I said group play against the Trailblazers on Friday, Trailblazers in regular play on Saturday, and then they go back to group play on Tuesday, November 26th against the Timberwolves, and then next Wednesday, they're on the road against the Sixers. But I got the Rockets winning the group play over the Blazers. Other group play matchups, I got the Nets over the Sixers. I got the Celtics over the Wizards. Bucks over the Pacers. Hawks over the Bulls. Mavericks Nuggets, that's going to be a tight game, but I'm going to go with the Dallas Mavericks in that one. Kings Clippers, that's another tight one, but since it's in LA, I'm going to go with the Clippers. Here's a couple games Here's some other predictions. Let's go to Wednesday, November 20th. Bulls, Bucks, prime time. I'm going to take the Bucks. Knicks, Suns. I'm going to probably take Phoenix and home on that one. Any primetime games on Thursday? One, Pistons, Hornets. I'm going to take the Hornets. Friday's group play. I already picked these, by the way. All right, moving on. Let's see what we got. Saturday, Knicks and Jazz are prime time. Give me the Knicks on the road. Grizzlies, Bulls. I'm gonna take Grizzlies, Nuggets, Lakers in LA. I'd like to see Denver win, but something tells me the Lakers will probably win. Sunday, November 24th. No primetime games here. Actually, a lot of these games are going to be not a bunch of not good worth watching. Monday night, Pelicans are on the road, but I'm not going to predict that one. Mavericks, Hawks. I'm going to go with the Dallas Mavericks there. Thunder, Kings, and Sacramento. OKC wins that one. Next group play day is November 26th. I'll predict these. Rockets, Timberwolves. I'm going to take Houston. I'm going to keep picking them. Bulls, Wizards. I'm going to take the Bulls over there on the road there. Bucks and the Heat in Miami. That'll be a primetime game on TNT. I'll actually take the Miami Heat in that one. Spurs, Jazz. I'm going to go with the San Antonio Spurs. They've actually been winning more games. And then finally, Lakers, Suns on TNT. I'm going to take the Phoenix Suns just because it's in Phoenix and I don't like their fans there. And then finally, I'll pick a couple more on primetime. Wednesday, Thanksgiving Eve, the next time I'll be recording. Knicks, Mavericks in Dallas. I'll take the Knicks on the road for this one. And then Thunder, Warriors. Ooh, that's going to be worth watching. In fact, it's in San Francisco. I'm going to go with Golden State winning that one. So before I wrap up any NBA talk and talk some bit of college basketball, here's your leaders so far for the week of this week, season leaders this week. Offensive leaders in points. Here's your top 5. Is a 3-way tie for third. LaMelo Ball, Nikola Jokic, and Jason Tatum are a 3-way tie in third with 29.7 points this season. Second place, you got Anthony Davis at 31.1, and leading in points this season is Giannis Antetokounmpo with 31.4. Your top 5 leaders in assists this week. At number 5, you got Cade Cunningham of the Pistons with 8.8 assists. At 4th, James Harden at 9. In 3rd, LeBron at 9.2. In 2nd, Trae Young at 11.6. And leading in assists so far is Nikola Jokic at 11.7. Top 5 3-pointers this season so far. At number 5, Steph Curry at 4.1. At number 4, Jason Tatum at 4.2. Number 3, Tyler Hero from the Miami Heat at 4.4. At number 2, LaMelo Ball at 4.6. And leading at number 1 for 3-pointers, Anthony Edwards at 4.8. Your defensive leaders, your top 5 in rebounds, also a 3-way tie. Karl Anthony Towns of the Knicks, Giannis, and Ivica Zubac of the Clippers are tied at 3rd with 12.4 rebounds. At number 2, Domantas Sabonis of the Kings at 12.5. And leading in rebounds is none other than Jokic with 13.7. Your top 5 leaders in blocks, we got a tie in 4th place. Alexander Sarr and Donovan Clingan are tied at 2.1. And 3rd, you got Brook Lopez of the Bucks with 2.4. Chet Holmgren of the Thunder with 2.6. And leading in blocks another week, Victor Wembanyama with 3.7. And then finally, your top 5 leaders in steals. We got a 3-way tie with 3rd place. Tumani Kamara of the Trailblazers, Jordan Poole of the Wizards, and Tari Eason of the Rockets with 1.9 steals. Jalen Williams in 2nd place with 2 steals. Averaging 2 steals, and leading in steals, Dyson Daniels of the Atlanta Hawks with 3.4. So that's your NBA numbers right there. We'll get to college basketball. I haven't really been keeping up with it, but I can tell you the top 25 had a major change. Alabama's no longer the number 2 team in the country. I know that. So they actually dropped the only one that stayed in their same spot is Kansas at number 1. 2 through 4 moved up 1 spot. So UConn is 2, Gonzaga 3, and Auburn is 4. Iowa State moved up 2 spots to 5. Purdue moved up 7 spots to 6. Houston moved up 1 to 7. Houston dropped down 6 spots to 8. Kentucky went from 19 to number 9. North Carolina's 10. Tennessee's number 11. Duke dropped 6 spots to 12. Baylor dropped 1 down to 13. Creighton 14. Marquette 15. 16 Indiana. Those are the same. Arizona dropped down 8 spots to 17. Cincinnati dropped 1 down to 18. Wisconsin moved up 7 spots to 19. Arkansas dropped 2 spots to 20. Florida dropped 1 down to 21. 22 St. John, 23 Texas A&M, 24 Rutgers, and at 25 is Illinois. They move up 1, so now they're officially in the top 25. Let's see. We do got a couple of top 25 matchups going on right now. Looks like no upsets as of tonight. Making a couple of picks. I know Alabama's got Illinois tomorrow night. They're playing in the CM Newton Classic. This game is actually being played in Birmingham, Alabama. So like a home away for home for the Crimson Tide. They took their first loss to Purdue. They'll probably win this one to kind of try and bounce back. Let's see. Any other top 25 games to pick? Baylor and St. John's, top 25 matchup here. St. John's is undefeated, but I'm going to take Baylor in that one. Then on Friday, the only game worth picking, Duke and Arizona at 9:30 on ESPN2. Well, I'd love to see Arizona upset the Duke Blue Devils there. And then this might be good to pick here. It's Marquette and Georgia, battle of undefeated teams. Marquette is ranked. Georgia's 5-0. Marquette's 4-0. I'd like to see Marquette pull an upset there. Let's see what else to pick. Monday night, November 25th. Top 5 matchup, the Maui Invitational. So this game's going on in Hawaii. We got number 4 Auburn versus number 5 Iowa State. God, this would be a tough one to pick. Auburn's a heavy favorite. 62% are predicting Auburn wins. I mean, I'll take the SEC in this one. I'll go with the Auburn Tigers to win this top 5 matchup. On Tuesday, November 26th, another top 10 matchup. We got Alabama and Houston. I hope you. Come on, Cougs. Y'all can pull this off. And we got a rematch, Kansas and Duke, a national championship type matchup. Top 15 matchup, 1 versus 12. Kansas wins that one big. And then the next time we're going to be on the air, there will be a slate of top 25 matchups. 2 I'll pick here. Texas A&M and Creighton. I'm going to go with the Blue Jays. I'm taking Creighton to beat the Aggies. And then Rutgers and Alabama, 24 versus 8. But like I said, Alabama could drop a spot or could move up a spot. I'll pick Alabama in this one, even though I don't give 2 shits about the Crimson Tide. I know LSU boys just got a win over Charleston Southern, 77-68. They're undefeated. They're 4-0. Next game, they play Friday night. They play Pitt at 1:30, and then they close out the month on November 29th. They host Northwestern State. I think they're going to be 6-0 heading into the month of December. Women's basketball, I know I don't really talk about it, but I will say LSU is kicking ass right now. They're 5-0. They host Tulane tomorrow night at 7 p.m. I know Kim Mulkey's Tigers. They should close out. Well, they're going to have a tough challenge at the end of the month. They'll play Washington in the Baha Mar Pink Flamingo Championship. And this game's being played in the Bahamas. LSU Washington, that should be a hell of a matchup right there. But I think LSU can pull it off. And then they'll go into the month of December with a 7-0 record as well. LSU looking great in basketball. Yeah, they had a little struggled first half. The boys did with Charleston Southern, but they were able to get the dub. So, and I will speak a little more college basketball. Like once college football is kind of out of the way and we definitely get into conference play, I'll definitely be picking some top 25. Might even pick a couple of conference matchups going on, even if they're not in the top 25. But I will I'm mainly going to focus on the top 25 for college basketball outside of LSU or even McNeese boys. I know McNeese, they played Monday night. They beat North Texas 68-61, ended their undefeated streak. McNeese is now 2-2. Their final game of the month, they're going to be playing also they're going to the Virgin Islands to play Illinois State before they head into the month of December. where they're going to have 6 matchups to check out there as well. So that's all the college hoops I got. And I don't know if I am ready to rant or not. But let's get to some college football talk already. And you know where I'm going with this one. LSU, it's a good thing you're good in basketball right now because you cannot fucking win shit in football right now. You now lose 3 in a row. You drop 27-16 to Florida. You get dropped out of the top 25. Your chances of going to the college football playoffs are officially over. You're going to get some shit bowl game, like whether if it's the ReliaQuest Bowl again or the fucking Cheez-It Bowl, whatever. I said within 3 to 4 years, Brian Kelly is going to get us to the playoffs. Well, it's the 3rd year. It didn't happen. I'm hoping the 4th year when we finally get Bryce Underwood coming next year. But this was not a good game. We're now 6-4, 3-3 in the SEC. Garrett Nussmeier, 27 for 47, 260 yards and 1 touchdown. It's not going to cut it. And, oh my God, I even got Florida's defensive stats with how bad our fucking O-line looked. But it couldn't have been as bad as our fucking defense. The defense is straight up shit. We got supposedly the best defensive coordinator. We got Missouri's former DC. We can't win shit with that motherfucker. Caden Durham, 20 carries for 91 yards. Aaron Anderson, 7 receptions for 72 yards. He had 1 receiving touchdown. You want to compare the defenses? This was LSU's defense. 32 total tackles, 12 solo, and 1 tackle for a loss. Florida's defense, 95 total tackles, 43 solo tackles, 11 tackles for a loss, and 7 sacks. Our O-line ain't shit. Our defense ain't shit. Garrett Nussmeier ain't shit. I would be bitching his ass already when we get ready for Vanderbilt. I'll talk more about that. DJ Lagway, he's kind of the future. He played like he was the future. 13 for 26, 226 passing yards and a touchdown. But not good enough to be one of my top 5 impact players, though. LSU's got a lot of fixing to do before they get ready with Vanderbilt. They're already trying to get a lot of people in the crowd. They want to try and bring back something beautiful and fancy. They're wearing gold this Saturday against Vanderbilt. I will say that's a fucking beautiful jersey. I've seen it in the stores, and they're finally going to wear it. But how are they going to wear this combo? They haven't worn gold at home like this since 1998. I saw 3 different options. This was all Photoshop, but what you prefer to see them? I rather them go like this. Just have an all gold out. I have never seen an all gold out look. This is fucking fire. I would love for them to do this. Now, they've done this look before. This was the last time they wore an actual gold jersey like this. With white helmets, white pants. That's not a bad look. I got a feeling this might be the look. But this shit, hell fucking no. White helmet, gold pants, purple pants. We have never had purple pants, ever. I don't like this look. I'm sticking with 1 or 2. Now, the last time they wore gold jerseys, that was that like mustard gold they had in 2015 where they had the white helmets and the numbers on the side. That was kick-ass. Already got our first comment. What's going on, Justin? Yeah, so I'm going with 1. I want the all gold look against Vanderbilt, but I'm worried about them. I want them to fucking win. I don't care about they try. Don't be like the Oregon Ducks with all these fucking uniform fashion shows. Because Vanderbilt, remember, that's the team that beat Alabama because you guys couldn't fucking do it. Top 5 impact players in college football this week. No particular order, but I got Ashton Ginny back on there. It's Boise State. Yeah, they had a struggle win. I'll say a struggle win, but they had a scary game. That's top 25. They had a scary game with San Jose State, but they got it done 42-21 against San Jose State. Ashton Ginny, 32 carries for 159 yards and 3 touchdowns in that one. My next impact player, Peyton Thorne. He went Peyton Thorne for Auburn. 22 for 32, 256 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Yeah, that's big numbers, but yeah, they didn't play nobody. They played UL Monroe. They beat them 48-14, but that's still big numbers. So I had to put him on there. Drew Alar went 17 for 19, 247 passing yards, and 3 touchdowns against Purdue, 49-10. That's good numbers right there. Shadir Sanders for Colorado, 30 for 41, 340 yards, and 3 touchdowns against Utah, winning 49-24. And then finally on the list, I'm going to put Kyle Williams for Washington State. Kyle Williams, 9 receptions, 181 yards, and 3 touchdowns. I don't even know who Washington State beat, but that was his numbers. Let me see on the list here. Sorry, photo. Wait. I don't see it. Just Washington State won. I don't even. Oh, here we go. No, they ain't even their fucking quarterback. Who the fuck Kyle Williams play for? I can't believe I wrote his shit wrong. Oh, Kyle Williams did play for what? He's a wide receiver. Why the fuck I said quarterback? 9 receptions for 181 yards and 3 touchdowns against fuck whoever they played. Was it New Mexico? Yeah, and that was considered an upset. I need to start writing more shit down. But yeah, that was one of the upsets. But New Mexico upsetting Washington State. I didn't put that on the top of the list. There were a couple of other upsets. Kansas upsets BYU late on Saturday night. And only 2 people predicted that on College Game Day. Cody Rhodes and Kirk Herbstreit. Well, I thought Cody Rhodes would know college football like that. And they did it. I was fucking shocked. That just kind of put the Big 12 championship open for teams like Colorado to have a chance to win it. Because as of now, I was saying BYU was going to win the Big 12. You better watch out for Colorado. Arizona State upsetted Kansas State, but I've called it. I said they were going to win that one. Shout out. I mean, they were trolling LSU, but hell, shout out to Tulane. They getting their shit done. They won their game over Navy, and they already punched their ticket to their 3rd consecutive American Athletic Conference championship. They will play Army in that one. December 6th, and it's going to be in New Orleans. I think it's December 6th. It's actually going to be a Friday night matchup. Yeah, Friday night, December 6th in New Orleans, Yeoman Stadium. One of 2 teams from Louisiana that's already punched their ticket to a conference championship. Shout out to Southern University. They're going to the SWAC to play Jackson State on December 7th. The winner of that game goes to the Celebration Bowl to play the winner of the MEAC Conference Championship to become national champions of HBCU. So good luck to the Human Jukebox and Southern. They already know they're going to be heavy favorite to win the Bayou Classic and, of course, the Battle of the Bands. So, and one more thing before I get to some college football predictions. It's kind of back and forth of who's going to win that Heisman Trophy. Everybody's talking about Travis Hunter or they're talking about Ashton Genie. I'm on the Genie train, the running back for Boise State. So far, here's his 2024 stats as a running back. So far this season, 256 carries for 1,893 yards, averaging 7.4 yards per carry. 26 total career touchdowns this season. His longest was for 77 yards. Hell, he's even got some receiving numbers. 17 receptions, 98 receiving yards, averaging 5.8 yards per catch, and only 1 receiving touchdown, and it was for 16 yards. Meanwhile, you got a 2-way player like Travis Hunter as a wide receiver. 74 receptions, 911 yards, averaging 12.3 yards per catch, 9 receiving touchdowns. His longest was for 46 yards. Meanwhile, he also got a few rushing numbers. Only 2 carries for 5 yards, averaging 2.5 yards per carry, and he does have 1 5-yard rushing touchdown. Meanwhile, on defense as a defensive back, 23 total tackles, 16 solo, 7 assists, 8 PD, 1 forced fumble, and 3 interceptions. It's hard to pick. I'm still picking with Ashton Genie, but I would not be surprised if Travis Hunter wins the Heisman Trophy being a 2-way player. And I know a lot of people are going to pick him because he plays for Prime. He plays for a Power 5 school where Boise State, they're trying to make noise. And by the way, the last time I looked at the college football playoff update, it don't even matter. This one I saw, they got Boise State not only winning the Mountain West, but getting a bye, getting that fourth seed. 1, 2, and 3 are kind of still the same. Oregon winning the Big Ten, getting the number 1 seed. Miami winning the ACC, getting that 3 seed. And Texas winning the SEC, getting the 2 seed. As of right now, they got BYU still winning the Big 12, but going in that 12th seed to host number 5 Ohio State. So what this looks like is possibly they think Ohio State is going to play Oregon in the Big Ten championship. Oregon already got it locked in. Oregon's going to Indianapolis. I think they're going to play the winner of that Ohio State-Indiana matchup we're getting this Saturday. But they're already saying they think it's going to be Ohio State. But they got them two playing where the winner would play Boise State. They predicting Alabama at Notre Dame where the winner will play Oregon. Georgia at Penn State where the winner plays Miami. And Ole Miss at Indiana where the winner plays Texas. That's their predictions as of right now. And before we get to some predictions, let's take a look at your weekly leaders in college football so far. For season leaders right now, in offense, your top 5 in passing. Some of these names, actually, it's the same 4 guys, but different numbers. Number 5, we got Josh Hoover at a TCU, 3,233 passing yards. At 4, Chandler Morris from North Texas at 3,328. Jackson Dart at 3rd from Ole Miss at 3,409. At number 2, Kyle McCord from Syracuse. That's a new name. At 3,476 yards. And leading in passing is Miami's Cam Ward at 3,494 yards. Your top 5 leaders in rushing. We got a couple of new faces here. At number 5, we got Tulane's Mekhi Hughes at 1,291 rushing yards. Number 4, Caleb Johnson from Iowa at 1,328. Same with R.J. Harvey from UCF. In second, we got Omarion Hampton from North Carolina at 1,422. And leading in rushing, another week, Ashton Genie from Boise State, 1,893 rushing yards. You think he's going to get to 2,000 yards by the time we get to the Mountain West Championship? I think he can. I think he can definitely get to 2,000. Your top 5 leaders in receiving. At number 5, we got Ole Miss's Trey Harris at 987. At number 4, Ty Felton from Maryland at 1,040. At number 3, Tediora McMillan from Arizona, 1,136. At number 2, Harold Fanning Jr. from Bowling Green State at 1,170. And leading in receiving is San Jose State's Nick Nash at 1,282. Your defensive leaders this week. In tackles, your top 5. Wake Forest's Nick Anderson with 105. Number 4, Travion Barnes from FIU at 109. Same with Carson Schwezinger from UCLA. In second, Red Murdoch from Buffalo at 126. And leading in tackles is Sean Dolak from Buffalo at 137. Your top 5 leaders in sacks. At number 5, Kyle Kennard from South Carolina at 10.5 sacks. Number 4, Donovan Iziraku from Boston College with 11. At number 3, Trey White from San Diego State at 11.5. In second, Antoine Powell Ryland from Virginia Tech at 13. And at leading in sacks from Marshall, Mike Green with 15 sacks. And finally, your top 5 leaders in interceptions. A 4-way tie for second. Terrence Spence from James Madison, Cam Lockridge from Fresno State, Jalen Catalan from UNLV, and Mello Dotson from Kansas. 5 interceptions this season. And leading in interceptions this season with 7 is Noel Williams from Cal. Whew. All right. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and make some predictions for week 13 of college football. And man, we got a good slate of games for you this week. I got a couple of FCS matchups on here. We'll start with probably one of the most famous and oldest rivalries in college football, also known as The Game. You got Yale and Harvard, 2 Ivy League rivals, one of the most famous, iconic, legendary, oldest rivalries in college football. This will be the 140th meeting between these 2 Ivy League schools that's been going on since 1875. Yale leads this rivalry at 70 and 61 and 8. Yale did win the last 2. This one was kind of a toss-up. I know Harvard, I think, has 1 loss. Yale had, I think, maybe 2 losses. This is going to be a hell of a game. And it will be televised. It's an 11 a.m. kickoff. I think it's on ESPNU. But I'm taking Harvard to win this one. Yale's 6-3, Harvard's 8-1. So I'm taking the Crimson to win this one. College game day will be in Columbus. We got a top 5 matchup in the Big Ten. Indiana, Ohio State. Biggest challenge for the Hoosiers. And man, it's been 28 years since Indiana beat Ohio State. The last time they beat them, it was a year before I was born. Now, the last time they beat them in the Horseshoe was in 1987. So it's been 28 years total, 29 since they did it in Columbus. God, please let Indiana eliminate Ohio State out of the talk. They might still make the college football playoff, but eliminate them, getting a chance to go to the Big Ten championship, make Ryan Day more sad. Give me Indiana. I've doubted them a bit, but I believe they can pull the upset. I guarantee if this was in Bloomington, they would be a heavy favorite, but it's in Columbus. It's an early kickoff. I think the big noon kickoff crew is going to be there as well. I'm rolling with the Hoosiers. Give me Indiana. All right, Wake Forest at Miami. This one, big win for Miami. Ole Miss and Florida. Oh, God, I would love for Ole Miss to fucking beat the Florida Gators. Give Billy Napier another loss. So, hotty toddy, I'm going with Ole Miss. UConn and Syracuse. I'm going to take the Syracuse Orange in this one. I got another FCS matchup here. North Dakota State at South Dakota. It looked like it'd be a very good game, but I'm going to ride with North Dakota State winning this one. Kentucky at Texas. I think Kentucky makes it a good game, but I'm going with Texas to win this one. A win here gets them a lock in to go to Atlanta to play in the SEC championship, despite a loss to A&M if it would happen. Penn State and Minnesota. I'm going to go with Penn State on the road here. BYU at Arizona State. You know, BYU's red hot mad after that loss to Kansas. So I'm going with the Cougars to get a win over on the road at Arizona State. Colorado and Kansas. Kansas trying to have lightning strike twice, trying to get back-to-back upsets. It's in Lawrence, so that's going to be a kind of a favor, but I think Colorado's a little too much for them with Shadir Sanders and Travis Hunter. I'm going with Colorado on the road. A win here could punch them a ticket to the Big 12 championship to possibly play BYU up there in Vegas now. Yeah, the Big 12 championship is now in Vegas, not Dallas. This is going to be crazy. Wisconsin and Nebraska, kind of an even matchup. I mean, Wisconsin did win the last 10. Nebraska hasn't beaten the Badgers since 2012. But I don't know what the fuck's up with Nebraska. It's like when they're a favorite, they just kind of shit the bed. Now look at Wisconsin. They hung in with Oregon. They almost pulled an upset. So that's why I'm taking Wisconsin on this one. I got Wisconsin beating Nebraska. Army and Notre Dame. This game will be played at MetLife Stadium. Notre Dame is going to wear those crazy uniforms. I wish I'd had a picture. The ones with those big, shiny gold numbers. I'll get a picture next week, or if you watch it this weekend. But yeah, despite Army having a good season, punching their ticket to play Tulane in the American Athletic Conference Championship, I think Notre Dame's a little too much for them. I got Notre Dame winning big over Army. Alabama at Oklahoma. Alabama is a little too much for the Sooners. Their first year in the SEC has been shit. So Alabama wins on the road here. Texas A&M at Auburn. This one was a toss-up for me, but Auburn's kind of been a little shit in, so I'm going to go with A&M on the road here. Vanderbilt at LSU. LSU rocking them gold uniforms for the first time since 98. I hope it brings good luck because Vanderbilt can run the ball. Their quarterback loves to run it. I hope that defense is ready. LSU won the last 9 meetings. Vanderbilt hasn't beaten LSU since 1990, but they haven't beaten LSU in Tiger Stadium since 1951. God, we better not fuck this up. LSU's a heavy favorite. I think Vanderbilt's going to give me some gray hairs. They're going to scare me, but I think LSU pulls it off at the end. LSU will, if they don't get a struggle win, I think they might win maybe by 2 touchdowns. So I got LSU at home. Plus, it's a Saturday night in Death Valley. if it fills up. Two more to pick here. Cincinnati, Kansas State. I don't have much to say here. I'm going with Cincinnati. And then finally, we get a rivalry. We now have to wait on rivalry week 4. We're getting USC, UCLA for the victory bell. One thing crazy about this rivalry, they play for this bell where whoever wins it, they repaint the bell. So UCLA wins it, they paint it blue. USC wins it, they paint it red. But the fact that it's in the Rose Bowl, look at the comparisons of total wins. Yes, it's the home of UCLA. Of course, they're going to have the most wins. Since playing there in 1982, UCLA has won 172 games in the Rose Bowl. That's also including the Rose Bowl game. USC, where a majority of their games there, if it wasn't the Rose Bowl game or this rivalry, they have won a total of 77 matchups in the Rose Bowl, basically like a home away from home. So that's some big numbers there. I think they get win number 78. I'm going with the USC, unfortunately. I despise them fucking Trojans. So that's all I got really for college football. Oh, by the way, I went 8-2 last week. I picked 10 games and I went 8-2. That's some damn good numbers compared to my NFL numbers. But you know what? I'm not going to bitch too much about the NFL. You know why? Because the Saints won again, baby. Rizzy is 2-0 as an interim head coach. A great start. They win 35-14 over the Cleveland Browns. They move up to 4-7. Yeah, they need to keep winning more if they want to try and sneak in the wild card. But not a bad night. Derek Carr went 21 for 27. He had 248 yards and 2 touchdowns. Taysom Hill balled the fuck out, people. 7 carries for 138 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns. His first for 10 yards, his second for 33 yards, his final for 75 yards. Marquez Valdez-Scantling got his 3rd touchdown as a Saint. He led in receiving, 2 receptions for 87 yards. Also in rushing, Taysom Hill went 1 for 2, 18 total rushing yards. In receiving, he had 8 receptions for 50 yards. On a 1 for 2 as a quarterback, 18 passing yards. I'm sorry. Mistake there. Also, Juwan Johnson had a 1-yard touchdown catch as well. Defense did good. 76 total tackles, 33 solo, 5 tackles for a loss, and 3 sacks. Not a bad game to take on Jameis Winston and the Cleveland Browns. And now they're on a bye week. Good. They got the win. They needed that. I hope they enjoy their bye week, get rested up, get ready to play the LA Rams next week. What else happened in the NFL? Okay, Thursday Night Football. Eagles beat the Commanders 26-18. Jalen Hurts went 18 for 28 and 221 passing yards. Saquon Barkley, 26 carries for 146 yards and 2 touchdowns. I'll say Jameis Winston's numbers. They were actually pretty good. 30 for 46, 395 passing yards and 2 touchdowns against the Saints, but didn't get the win. So, but it was good to see Jameis Winston again. The Packers comeback win with a blocked field goal 2019 over the Chicago Bears. Jordan Love, 13 for 17, 261 yards and a touchdown, where Caleb Williams only went 23 for 31 and 231. That motherfucker is not going to get Rookie of the Year. You want to know what Jaden Daniels' numbers was in that loss to the Eagles? 22 for 32, 191 passing yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception, despite losing to the Eagles. He still played better than Williams. He's going to get Rookie of the Year. I tell you who else. I'm calling it now. The Detroit Lions are going to the Super Bowl. They are going to win the NFC. They played their 4th game, scoring 40 or more points. They beat the Jacksonville Jaguars 52-6. Jared Goff went 24 for 29, 412 passing yards and 4 touchdowns. David Montgomery led in rushing in this game. 15 carries for 75 yards and 2 touchdowns. Amon-Ra St. Brown led in receiving, which he's a good wide receiver. 11 receptions for 161 yards and 2 touchdowns in that one. Vikings win 23-13 over the Titans. Dolphins win 34-19 over the Raiders. Tua Tagovailoa, 28 for 36, 228 yards and 3 touchdowns. That one. Rams beat the Patriots 28-22. Matthew Stafford went 18 for 27, 295 yards and 4 TDs. This one here, I see why they fired their GM. Colts beat the Jets 28-27. Anthony Richardson, 20 for 30, 272 yards and 1 touchdown, where Aaron Rodgers didn't look bad. 22 for 29, 184 yards and 2 touchdowns, but they still lost the game. But the Jets fired their general manager. This was a hell of a game and so many fucking fights. Steelers beat the Ravens 18-16. Lamar Jackson still playing good, though. 16 for 33, 207 passing yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Russell Wilson went 23 for 36, 205 yards, but 1 interception in that one. Broncos beat the dog shit out the Falcons 38-6. Bo Nix, 28 for 28 for 33, 307 passing yards and 4 touchdowns. I knew I should have fucking started Bo Nix this week. Seahawks beat the 49ers 20-17. The Buffalo Bills gave the Kansas City Chiefs their first loss of the season. They haven't lost a game since Christmas Day. Josh Allen, 27 for 40, 262 yards and 1 touchdown. Patrick Mahomes, 23 for 33, 196 yards, 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Fuck, Josh Allen even led in rushing, 12 carries for 55 yards and a touchdown, compared to Kareem Hunt, 14 carries for 60 yards. Xavier Worthy, though, led in receiving in that game, 4 receptions for 61 yards and a touchdown, where Khalil Shakir had 8 receptions for 70 yards. Bills won 30-21. And a lot of people think we're going to get the rematch and possibly the Chiefs are going to beat them again in the playoffs, but we'll see. Buffalo's hot right now in the AFC. Sunday Night Football, god damn it. Chargers beat the Bengals 34-27. Joe Burrow, 28 for 50. That ain't good number. Passing numbers right there. Completions. He did throw 356 passing yards and 3 touchdowns, where Justin Herbert threw 17 for 36, 297 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. He also led in rushing, 5 carries for 65 yards. But it ain't going to do it, fam. I mean, and they need a new kicker. Joe Burrow ain't got no O-line, ain't got no fucking kicker. I guarantee you, if McPherson would have made them 2 field goals, Bengals would have won that game. I think the Saints need to trade Joe Burrow to the Saints. Work a fucking trade with the Saints right now. Give us him and give us Jamar Chase. If we got to give up, I'll give him Derek Carr. I know it ain't going to fucking happen. I'll trade a first-round pick for Joe Burrow. How about that? Work something out. Trade your first-round pick for Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. We'll take care of them. We sure took care of them in Baton Rouge. But the Saints are in rebuild mode. I get it. We finally got rid of Dennis Allen. We got to get rid of Mickey Loomis next. They're going to wait till probably offseason to do that. We need somebody that fucking loves this team with a passion. And there ain't nobody else I know that loved this team more than Drew Brees. Drew Brees would make a great general manager for the team he brought to the Super Bowl back in 2009, 2010. Oh, and I'm going to save the best for last, baby. Monday Night Football, the Houston Texans beat the Dallas Cowboys 34-10. Unfortunately, CJ Stroud did not give me enough fantasy points to win, but he did go 23 for 34, 257 yards, and only 1 interception. Joe Mixon, 20 carries for 109 yards and 3 touchdowns. And Nico Collins led in receiving, 4 receptions for 54 yards. Cooper Rush, 32 for 55, 354 yards, 1 TD and 1 interception. CeeDee Lamb, only 93 yards on 8 receptions. That defense fucking ran over them Cowboys. Woo! And I loved every fucking bit of it. I think we all did. And it's coming, folks. Now, Thanksgiving might be a big challenge. Could be the only chance of them winning a home game is on Thanksgiving when we get that week when they play the Giants. But I wouldn't be surprised if they lose that. So as of right now, this week, here's your stat leaders in the NFL. In passing, here's your top 5. CJ Stroud at 2,628 at 5. At 4, Geno Smith at 2,781. At 3, Kirk Cousins with 2,807. Second, Lamar Jackson at 2,876. And leading in passing is Joe Burrow, 3,028 yards. Top 5 rushing leaders at number 5, Jahmyr Gibbs from the Lions at 796. At 4, Chuba Hubbard at 818. 3, Josh Jacobs at 838. Second, Saquon Barkley at 1,137. And leading in rushing in the NFL, Derrick Henry at 1,185 yards. Top 5 receiving this week. And number 5, Zay Flowers at 727. And number 4, George Pickens at 728. 3, CeeDee Lamb at 774. Second, Justin Jefferson at 912. And leading this season in receiving this week, Jamar Chase at 1,056. Defensive leaders, top 5 in tackles. At number 5, Zach Bond at 102. Number 4, Jamian Sherwood at 103. And third, Logan Wilson at 104. Second, Zaire Franklin at 109. And leading in tackles is Roquan Smith at 110 total tackles. Top 5 sack leaders this season, this week. Number 5, Andrew Van Ginkel of the Vikings at 8 sacks. Number 4, Dante Fowler Jr. with the Commanders at 8.5. A tie for second place, Nick Bonito of the Broncos and Dexter Lawrence, the second for the Giants with 9 sacks. And leading in sacks this season, Trey Hendrickson of the Bengals with 11.5. And then finally, your top 5 leaders in interceptions we got a tie for 4th. Jalen McCullough of the Rams and Byron Murphy Jr. of the Vikings with 4. Third, Marlon Humphrey for the Ravens at 5. At second, Xavier McKinney for the Packers at 6. And leading with interceptions this season at number 1 is Kirby Joseph of the Lions with 7. And now we will wrap this up. Week 12 for the NFL. We get the picks. I did not have a good week with week 11. I went 6-8 in my picks. So let's wrap this up. Let's get with the NFL picks. Thursday Night Football. You know what? I had this as my total of the week, but I'm going to change it. Pittsburgh Steelers at the Cleveland Browns. Russell Wilson versus Jameis Winston. I'm not going to give this total of the week. You know, they always play good matchups, despite the team's records. Browns got a bad record. Steelers got a good record. I think it could still be a close game, but I got the Steelers winning Thursday night against the Browns. Titans, Texans. Ooh, I fucking love this rivalry, battling over the Oiler franchise. Give me the Houston Texans. It's in Houston. Big win for them. Bucks at the Giants. Tampa Bay. I got nothing to say there. This will be my total of the week. Kansas City Chiefs at the Carolina Panthers. It's going to be a bad game for Carolina. You know, Kansas City's red hot. They're no longer undefeated. They're going to take it out on the Carolina Panthers, led with Bryce Young and company. Give me the Kansas City Chiefs. Big there. Dallas Cowboys at the Washington Commanders. I'm ready to see Dallas lose 6 in a row. It's in D.C. Give me Jaden Daniels. Give me the Washington Commanders. Lions at the Colts. This ain't even going to be a close. I guarantee you the Lions are going to score 40 or more points in this one too. Give me the Lions. Vikings, Bears. Vikings win that one. Broncos, Raiders. This should be a good game, but I got the Broncos on the road. 49ers and the Packers. This is a unique matchup to see, but it's at Lambeau Field. It's probably freezing cold up there already, so I got the Packers. Cardinals at the Seahawks. This one was a toss-up. This one can go either way, but I'm going to go. It's in Seattle. I'm going to go with the Seahawks. Sunday Night Football. Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles taking on Matthew Stafford and the LA Rams. Eagles are hot right now. I'm going with the Eagles. And then Monday Night Football, it's the other LA game. This is my game of the week. Lamar Jackson, Baltimore Ravens against Justin Herbert, LA Chargers. Both LA teams are playing bird teams in SoFi. 2 different nights, back-to-back nights. Despite the Chargers getting a lucky win over the Bengals, I don't know if they can do it twice in a row. The Ravens really need this win more than ever. I can't see them losing back-to-back. So I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens to win on the road against the LA Chargers. Well, that will wrap up tonight's edition of Sports-O-Mania Plus. I know I did it on a Tuesday night. I wanted to get it done because I'll be watching the CMAs tomorrow night as well as a few basketball games. But next week, I will be back on Wednesday, same time, same place, my YouTube channel, Thanksgiving Eve. I have a little pre-Thanksgiving show. Talks a lot of football especially. But this will wrap up tonight's edition of Sports-O-Mania Plus. Be sure to check out the Game Breaker Sports Network's website. Check out all the content with sports and wrestling and whatnot. or follow me on Twitter, at MarcusLee337. Follow Game Breaker Sports at GameBreakersNet. Subscribe to my YouTube channel to watch this anytime on demand. But thank y'all for tuning in, and I will see you guys next week. Y'all have a good night. Deuce.